Well, I was happy for our seniors to end up their last home game here at Bobby Dodd with a win, and it was a hard-fought game that went back and forth. I thought our team showed a lot of resilience, and proud of the way we finished. Uh, Looking forward to this week, going up to Athens. Certainly, they're a quality football team and a good program. They've got a ton of good players, and they're playing very well. I mean, watching that tape from a week ago, I'm not sure we could do that to our scout team. They looked unstoppable. Maybe they'll let us play with 12 on defense.
Questions? What have you seen from the progression of Fromm? Where do you see him at now?
I think he was a really good player a year ago, and he's just more experienced. I think he probably feels more comfortable with what they're doing, but he's been a good player since he's been there.
To this question, you mentioned your team's resilience this year, and your team had to come from behind this season. As you look back, what does that show you about this team, that their resilience and reviving the season?
Well, I think there's some, as you coach, you try to get messages across to our team. And like I said, each team's different. And I think towards the last half of the year, these kids have done a really good job of just trying to focus on what they can control. And we've talked about that a lot. And it's always good when I hear them regurgitate it, because you know that they heard it. And just keep playing. I mean, that's all you can do, is you just keep playing. And I think that they've done a really good job of just staying in the mode and keep grinding. And if it looks good, keep playing. If it don't look good, keep playing.
What's been your assessment of how Taquan's played the last couple of weeks, and kind of what does he need to kind of work on in this type of game?
I can't even remember the game before Virginia. I think he's done some good things. He's played, well enough. He's taken care of the ball. We would like to have, completed a high percentage of throws in the last game. Certainly, I think we had a chance. But all in all, maybe finish some runs in the secondary. But, as far as reads and as far as running the offense, I think he's done a good job.
As far as the message you were giving them about, control, control, what told you that was kind of what they needed to hear?
Well, it's just the way the situation was. I mean, there's a lot of noise. Everybody's got to answer. Everybody knows what's wrong. Everybody knows that, you're not going to win any more games. And, after the Clemson game, it was basically, I don't know that I'd say it was, I don't even know the word I'd use for it, but, we're not, we've fallen below Clemson. Hello. Everybody they play has. I noticed this week, for what it's worth, South Carolina's a 26-point underdog going to Clemson. So, for all the stuff, there's some pretty good teams in our league too, and they're one of them. So, they're probably right now one of the two best teams in the country. So all the sky was falling after that game, and you can't control that. You can't. All you can control is what you do next. You can control how you practice. You can control how you play in the game. And the point I try to make is just like I tell them before every game, usually right before we leave the locker room. Deal with what you got to deal with. If I'm the quarterback and I've got to read the option, dial in on the two guys I'm looking at. Don't worry about if the offensive line's blocking over here, if the receivers are doing this, or what happened on defense. Control what you can control. You can't control what the defense is doing. You can't control what the receivers are doing. You can do what you do, and vice versa for everybody else. And it's the same thing with coaches. I have to tell our coaches sometimes, everybody gets upset with calls or with this or with that. You can't control it. It's not going to change. Move on. Try to focus on the things you can control, and that's hard to do, but if you can do it, you got a chance to be successful.
You mentioned earlier the quarterback battle with Georgia and Clemson's another team that had two very talented quarterbacks. Do you prepare your defense differently with each quarterback that might come in?
Not really. They run some different plays with the two quarterbacks. They do some things with one that they don't necessarily do with the other. But no, you get ready for the system.
Since he's got increased playing time, Jerry Howard seems to have a nose for the end zone. What is
Jerry's
his
playing hard. I think that you know, he was really frustrated after the Duke game and then North Carolina, the very first play or whatever, and he's come to work every day and he's really playing hard. He's playing well right now.
When you looked at last year's game again, I mean, it seemed like there were some chances or some opportunities you left in the field, and I think it's really like that fourth down pass that DeQuan had to JJ that was, if he given a little more area, could have scored. But did you see opportunities for more?
Well, I don't know that he would have scored. I think we had a chance to make the first down, but it really wasn't DeQuan. We had a mess up somebody else. But the the thing that sticks out about last year's game to me is we ran 53 plays. And that's been a problem for us the last 2 weeks. We can't get off the field. And that's what we usually do to other people. And part of the problem a year ago was self-inflicted. We weren't very good on third downs. But, the last 2 weeks we've been pretty good on third downs, and we've run 60 plays. We've got to find a way to get off the field.
In terms of the sort of rivalry and things, there's been a bunch of talk from the UGA about the hedges and all this stuff. It seems to me they're, a 17-point favorite. It seems kind of weird that they're very concerned about losing a game and getting their hedges torn up versus the actual gameplay and things like that.
My whole take on that and what they do here is it's ridiculous. And I can remember I was surprised in 2008 when we won and everybody went for the hedges, and somebody asked me, "Are you not going to do that?" And I said, "No, I plan on coming back." And it's like, I don't know. Certainly I'll talk to our team. That's not something that I think has any part of the game. It doesn't do any good to go tear somebody's hedges down. If you win the game, go celebrate with your fans and celebrate in the locker room. And the same thing when they come here, when they go in the middle of the field and rip up the turf and the sod and plant a flag in the middle of the field. And I mean, kids will be kids, but it's kind of been tit for tat, I think. And I hadn't been a part of it before. I can tell you, I've never taken a hedge. And I hope we have that problem. That'd be a good problem to have.
I would think the challenge of getting off the field is exacerbated because Georgia, that's something they do really well, is convert on third downs, and they've got a really good passing game.
Yeah, but we've got to find a way to do better on third downs. We hadn't been very good at it, and so they are good at it. But we play in a lot of those games too. I mean, the last two we've been in 8 possession games, and so do they, the way they play sometimes. So, but I don't know that they play many 8 possession games. They haven't been in many, but it's the nature. It makes every possession valuable. You got to do something with the ball when you got it.
Kirby has said since the preseason that they'll run the same offense with either quarterback. Do you see changes with Fields other than the skills that he brings to the position?
I think he can run whatever he wants. He's a good player, but yeah, they don't run the same offense with either player. Maybe they can, but they don't.